All right, Dan, thank you. And this morning we are talking about the medical mystery surrounding North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. That's because a few media outlets are reporting that he may be dead. Some others are saying that he is just in a different condition. But right now, we do want to get you a national security and political science expert. On the line with me this morning is Dr. Matthew Schmidt from University of New Haven. Dr. Schmidt, I don't want to necessarily focus on the speculation on whether he's alive or not, but just some of the impacts we may see if in fact he is no longer with us. What can you share this morning from your expertise?
Thank you, Aisha. So the main problem is the succession fight. If Kim is dead or worse, incapacitated, and people are deciding what to do in that case. So the name on everybody's tongue is his sister, but there was bound to be other factions within the military that would vie for control. And the big player here isn't us, it's China. So we often forget that these kinds of perhaps misinformation campaigns are directed at us, but they may well be directed at the domestic population or even at China.
And that right there, you mentioned a misinformation campaign. Is there an advantage to spreading this story?
So the answer is we're not sure. We don't really know. So on the one hand, if we report it and then it's wrong, it's a kind of embarrassment. But that seems like a pretty small gain for that kind of thing. So we just don't know. And these things tend to be geared towards a domestic audience, tend to be a kind of chess move played against potential factions within North Korea. And this has happened before in the past. So this is why everybody sort of sits back and tries to figure this out. American intelligence and these other groups are trying to look at hard evidence, like where his train is, or vehicle movement, or other kinds of things that might give us some kind of hard evidence. But the North Koreans aren't stupid. They're a very capable regime in this way, and they play games with us too. They know when our satellites are overhead, and it's very hard to get human intelligence in the country. So we're pretty much in the dark and waiting.
And if in fact this is true and Kim Jong-un is in this serious condition, or he may no longer is with us, there's a lot of talk out there that his sister might be the one to transition into that role. What does that transition look like from your opinion?
So the big player in this, again, is China, because if there is civil unrest, China is facing millions of refugees, which would be a problem in its own right. Potentially, they could be carrying coronavirus across the border into China, and China would be facing a very embarrassing situation where they are on the hook for the coronavirus, and then would be facing a situation they probably couldn't control very well if you have a few million North Korean refugees coming across the border. So they have a big hand to play here, and to try to not let this happen, they would back an initial successor like Kim's sister, or a military faction that emerged as the strongest faction. They want to tamp this down as fast as possible.
All right, Doctor, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I wish we had more time to ask more questions here. But again, that was Dr. Matthew Schmidt from the University of New Haven joining us this morning to discuss that topic. Doctor, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and right now we do have a few more stories to get to you this morning. We are on a local until 9 o'clock.